Okay, so there was a video. It was apparently published 6 months ago by one of my favorite, if not my absolute favorite, transgender YouTuber, and her name is Isla Rose, and she has a lot of really good videos. And there was this one video I came across titled "I Don't Want to Live," and it was a very depressing video, but what pissed me off was that before I watched the video, there's a pop-up thing, saying that this, the YouTube community thinks this is as inappropriate or offensive. So I had to click confirm to be able to listen to her speak in the video, which is weird because there was nothing offensive or inappropriate about it. There was nothing. All it really was Isla talking about, her struggles in life, how she's been abused by her mother and sexually assaulted and raped and, horrible things that happened to her, of course. And this is very emotional content, okay? I mean, I've had a few emotional videos of my own, but this one it made me cry. And if people think that it's inappropriate or offensive for people to tell their stories on their YouTube channel, then I have a feeling that probably at least more than half of my content on my YouTube channel is also inappropriate or offensive. So I just think that's wrong. I feel like that's a form of sort of censorship. I don't like that, so I wanted to bring awareness to that issue because there was nothing wrong with her video there. And furthermore, I mean, I feel really bad for Isla for what she's been through. And but there's actually something else I want to mention. See, here's the thing. Effeminate men who end up being gay or who later come out as transgender and become women, trans women, they have a unique experience. Many of them were bullied. Many of them were raped. And I think that it's very important for everyone to be sensitive to that fact. I mean, I don't want to make it sound as if people being transgender or gay is a result of a sexual abuse. I don't know. Maybe in some cases it is, but probably not in all cases. However, I've had people say that to me about my experience and then the way I turned out. And, well, if you are a person, okay, there are people out here who they think that people being gay and trans is just horrible and against God and all that crap. And here's what I have to say to you. Look, if you don't like trans people or if you don't like people being gay, well then maybe you ought to do something to help stop the sexual abuse that they're experiencing that turns them gay or turns them trans. You know what I mean? People will probably still be gay or transgender anyway because there are other biological reasons for it. But let's suppose that plays a part in it. Well, then I got news for you. Then how about you quit raping people, quit going to church and worshiping a God who designed everything, including rape, and condones rape in the Bible. That's what I have to say to you people, okay? I wasn't going to go this route, but I'm getting really pissed off because sexual abuse is a huge problem. I was sexually abused. Isla was. Many people, whether cis or trans, whether straight or gay, were sexually abused as children or even in adulthood. And I just rape is a huge problem. And, and here's what I find particularly offensive is that, it's well known that women get raped, but men get raped too. Little boys and men get raped too, and it screws them up for life. And I'll tell you, when you have been raped, it can completely warp your view of sexuality. I know it did with me. It can really screw up your gender identity. I think it can, because it really screws you up in your head, and you don't grow up. If you've been raped, you don't grow up with the same experience and the same outlook on life as somebody who was not abused. And so that's the thing, is that it's very, I mean, I don't know if there's even a point to this anymore, but yeah, I just feel like when you're born male, you are not seen as a victim. You're often more seen as an abuser, because most violence is done to cis women by cis men, usually. You know what I mean? It's usually biological males who are abusing biological females. But guess what? Biological males are also abused by other males, which does not help, our view of being male. And you know what I mean? So yeah, but people are probably going to think this is offensive or inappropriate, but this I gotta say is that, have a little bit more respect for people who are sexual abuse victims, and don't just discount their identity because they were sexually abused, and don't just tell them, oh, get a therapist. First of all, people are not as stupid as you think. A lot of people the few people who dare to mention on their YouTube channel that they've been raped, those people, I guarantee you, they probably are in therapy. They probably are seeing a psychologist or some kind of counselor already. And it's like, and unfortunately that doesn't really help. If counseling, if psychology can help you, if medication can help you with your depression, do whatever helps you, But don't just give people a bunch of advice on how to fix themselves for their trauma of being abused. You know what I mean? You can't fix that. When you have been damaged for life, when you've been scarred for life because you had an experience that you can't forget and you'll never be free from till you die, the last thing you want is unwanted advice from people who, and it's like, you're only gay or you're only trans because this happened to you. And whether it's true or not is not the point. The point is, we live in a shitty world, and bad things happen to people. Bad things happen to me, Isla Rose, many others. And let's not even get into, what's done to the non-human animals is worse than what I have experienced, worse than what any human has experienced. Like, Schindler's List, if you've seen the movie Schindler's List, that looks like Sesame Street by comparison to Earthlings or any of these other slaughterhouse footage videos where you see how humans treat the non-human animals. So come on, just remember that I oppose violence in all its forms. I oppose religion that promotes and condones violence. I oppose the murder and rape of non-human animals as well as that of humans, regardless of the reason. Whether you rape somebody just to hurt them, or whether you try to rape them because they're a certain gender or skin color or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, the violence is horrible no matter who it happens to, regardless of the reason, and it screws people up. And then people like Isla don't want to live because they're tired of the pain and they just don't want to live anymore. They want to die. And I have felt that way many, many times in my life, and I still sometimes feel this way. I still feel like life is not worth it. And will my life ever reach a point where I am in a good place and I know that it's, my life was worth it? Because someday I'm gonna die sooner or later, and I want to know I made a difference. And so I just really hope that there's a lasting impact by something I've done. I've published books. I've done hundreds of YouTube videos. I've done all kinds of things, and I'm just trying to be good enough. I'm trying to be good enough to stop the violence. And it's an impossible task. But that's why people speak about violence, the violence that's done to them or to other people. That is why it's important for people to have a platform to express their views, their experiences, their opinions. It's important for people to have that platform, and YouTube has been that platform for me and many other people. And when YouTube starts censoring it, and when people start reporting somebody's content as inappropriate or offensive because it talks about murder or rape or something like that, how dare you? How dare you call the truth inappropriate? How dare you call the truth offensive? If the truth offends you, then get off the internet, because you will find the truth on the internet that you won't find anywhere else, because the internet has enabled more people to get their message out there. So stay off the internet. And also don't dare read anything or listen to the news on the radio even. If you don't like the truth, if the truth offends you, go away.